On the 16th of May 2025, I hit my third year in GTM Academy, and I want to condense all the lessons that I've learned from coaching entrepreneurs that are just starting out all the way to multi-million pound founders. If you want to create and scale a business, these are all of my best practices condensed into one video. Lesson 1, your success within business is predetermined by your attitude. Most entrepreneurs come into business thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to be able to do that. They have this big game about themselves. And I know because I was there too. When I first got into the business, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a businessman, I'm going to be CEO. I had it in my LinkedIn title and I thought I was it. I thought I was the guy. And that attitude did not get me very far at all. In fact, it took me down the exact wrong path. A lot of founders get into business and they're really, really arrogant about, I know the best way to run a business. Like, bro, you've been here for 6 months. You have no idea what you're doing, right? If you want to be successful within business, first thing is you have to humble yourself and you have to say, look, there's so much that I don't know. I'm here to learn. And that is going to give you the foundations to be able to grow quicker than everyone else. Because whilst everyone else is trying to compete with their own ego and keep up appearances, you're going to actually be learning and you're going to be making so much more progress in them because you've got the humility to figure out what you don't know and actually learn it properly. Okay? If you don't figure this out and you're not humble when it comes to business, you will get humbled. Okay? You're going to end up working yourself into a lifestyle that you don't deserve or actually earn, and you're just going to start showing off to people. And trust me, that's not a way that you want to actually live your life, right? I've had that myself where when I first got into business, I actually got a team of about 13 people together. And I was like, look at me, I'm the guy. I got 13 people in my team. They all work for me and they do this and that. I wasn't even paying them, right? They didn't have a salary, nothing. I was just like, just getting them to do things. And yeah, I'd pay them for like bits and pieces here and there. But it wasn't actually a structured team. It wasn't a functional business. I just did it to appease my own ego because that's what I thought business was about. Just showing off and telling people yeah, look at me. I've got all these different things. It absolutely was not the case. I got humbled big time and I realized that attitude was not going to get me far. And I realized very quickly that there's so much I need to figure out. And from there, once I've kept that attitude and maintained that attitude in business, that's why I've been able to, in my opinion, grow a lot faster than a lot of the founders I speak to that just remain stuck for so long. And one phrase that really helps me to live this out is I tell myself, if I don't have something, it's because I haven't earned it, okay? A lot of the time people beat themselves up like, oh, why don't I have this thing? Why don't I have that thing? It's like, you just haven't earned it, right? We are owed absolutely nothing in life. Nothing. You're not owed a peaceful life. You're not owed a peaceful death. You're not owed any kind of money. Nothing. Okay? You don't owe anything. But you do have the ability to earn things. And you can do things in life that make it unrealistic for you to not have a certain outcome. If I worked very smartly on business every single day, I worked harder than everyone else, learned all the best practices, would I have a disproportionate chance of success? Absolutely. Would I probably earn the success that I'm looking for? Absolutely. So that's the mindset that I take on. If I don't have something, it's because I haven't earned it yet. And by telling myself that over and over again, it reframes the problem of business. It says, look, it's on me now. Am I going to do what it takes to earn having great leads, earn having an amazing team, earn having an amazing delivery process that increases LTV? Okay, that's on me now. And I've just got to figure these problems out. But I wouldn't be able to do so if I didn't take that ownership to start with. So that's lesson 1. Lesson 2 is figure out where you want to be and then work backwards. You're never going to stumble upon just being rich. I mean, there's a small chance that you might, but it's extremely unlikely. And if that's how you want to live your life, where everything's up to huge amounts of chance, then go for it. But this video isn't for you. This video is for people that actually want to figure out how they can become better, who want to maximize their chances of being able to be successful. And what I'm telling you need to do is figure out what you actually want and then work backwards. I just had a call on Friday with 2 founders that were breaking down the business model, and they came on, they were just like, oh, we're really excited to kind of get this going. I needed some sales advice on how I could actually sell my product or service, right? Now their product or service was an app where people would pay 10 to 20 pounds a month. And as I was going through it, I was like, okay, just walk me through the numbers here. How many people do you think you're going to be able to get onto your app? They're like, maximum in the next 12 months or so, probably 100 people. And I was like, right. So if it's £10 a month and you get 100 people on, that's going to be £1,000 a month, right? I was like, how much money do you guys want to make in the next 12 months? They're just like, oh, well, there's 2 of us and we want to be able to sustain this kind of lifestyle. And it's like, you know, you can just tell that someone hasn't thought about where they want to be, and they're just kind of going with whatever's in front of them. And that's okay, right? Like, I understand, like, if you don't have the right guidance, it just happens sometimes. You just find yourself doing things for the sake of doing things. But if you want to be a smart business owner, figure out where you want to be and then work backwards. For example, for us, I want to hit 25K a month. That's my goal. That's one of the big things that I'm trying to strive towards. And I'm on track to do so. Right? Like, do you know how crazy that is? I'm on track to do so. I know the metrics that I need to influence. I know the people that I need to hire. I know the pricing that I need to have. I know the ads that I need to run. Once I understand what money I want to make, I can actually break that down into smaller components and think, how do I need to actually align this to make sure that that goal actually happens? And what most people don't do is just genuinely sitting down and thinking about, how much money do I want to make? Yeah? And everyone's like, oh, I want to be as rich as possible. It's like, yeah, you're never going to get as rich as possible by saying, I want to be as rich as possible. Okay, it's going to happen by you actually sitting down and having these strategic conversations about, like, okay, what are the different avenues of business I could go down, and which one do I genuinely want to pursue? Because the truth is, every time you start to pursue a business or an opportunity, there's other opportunities that are going to come up that might offer you a different level of finances. And the question is, you've got to ask yourself, what do I actually want? Yeah, figure out what you want and then work backwards and say no to all the distractions that come along the way. Right? Really simple advice, but oh my God, it'll save you years of your life if you actually do this properly. Just before you continue with the video, I want to let you know about something free that we're offering, which is a scaling roadmap. Most entrepreneurs struggle to grow their business because they don't know what they should be focusing on. However, we've helped to solve this problem by taking all the knowledge that we've got from the hundreds of entrepreneurs that we've worked with, and we've condensed it into one roadmap that you can get that's personalized for you. So if you want to get really clear on what you need to do to scale to 10, 20, 50, even 100K a month, then I strongly recommend you go and check out the free scaling roadmap that we've got below, and that's going to give you the exact steps that you need to scale your business. Anyways, that's it from me. Back to the video. Lesson 3 is make your business better and not bigger. Your business will become bigger when you make it better. But if you make bigger the goal, you'll inflate things to make things seem a certain way, but then in reality, that's just not going to be the case. That's exactly what I did at the start. When I told you, I had the team, I had people around me, I was out brainstorming different ideas, talking about all the different things I was going to do. And in reality, it didn't translate to anything of substance because I was so focused on trying to make things look bigger rather than trying to make the core functions of the business better. Okay? Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, G, you're saying make things better, but what does that actually mean in practical terms? Okay? The thing that I recommend that you do is you map out exactly what your business does, okay? From the start of your customer journey to the end of your customer journey. So every interaction that a customer would have within your business, and you make each section of that journey better, okay? You make the marketing better. It speaks more directly to the customers. You make the advertising better, right? You target better people. You get more specific with your ICP, okay? You give them a better process. You call your leads up quicker. You, in the sales process, you actually have better connections with your clients, with your prospects. You ask them good questions. You ask them better questions. You watch through the sales trend and you say, okay, which point did the prospect actually light up? Which calls did they get really engaged? You make your processes better, step by step. You're on board and you go through, you get feedback, make it better and better and better. And that's how you actually make your business better. And by making it better, your customers will make it grow automatically. They'll keep buying more. They'll buy at higher prices. They'll refer more people. You'll be able to get more customers in, and your business will actually grow like properly rather than you trying to just force it to grow. The way that I see this is that if you imagine a tree, if you make your business better, what happens is that you grow the roots out. You grow the foundations out, okay? What most people do is they try to grow their leaves and the top of the tree. And it's like they're trying to push that out as much as possible. And what happens is as it gets bigger, it's just going to collapse because you haven't built the infrastructure. You haven't built the roots up. Your business actually wasn't any good. You've just tried to create something because you're rushing everything and you want to look good in front of people. And as a result, you haven't built the foundations. And then what are you going to do? Your business is just going to collapse. And you're going to wonder, why did I even bother? Then you're going to end up blaming business. Then you're going to end up watching my videos and blaming me and saying like, oh, gee, why didn't you warn me earlier? But I am warning you. I'm giving you a direct warning now that if you don't actually build the back end of your business, then that's going to cause your business to fall over, right? And you don't want that. It's going to make it so much more difficult for you to actually grow. So that's lesson 3. Lesson 4 is that you need to advertise more. if you're doing less than $1 million a year, people don't even know you exist. This is a lesson that I got from Hormozy, and I never really understood it until in one of his videos he said, imagine we 10x the number of leads that your business was getting. What would happen to your business? And automatically I was like, oh my God, my business would be 10 times bigger. And then he said, okay, well then if that happens, or if you want that to happen, you need to tell more people about your stuff. So basic, so simple. And there's so many business owners that are running their business and they're doing less than $1 million a year, and they're sitting there thinking, if only I had more customers, if only I had more customers. But then when you look at what you do to market, you're not running ads, you're not doing more content, you're not doing more outreach, you're not asking your customers to give you more referrals, you literally do nothing and you expect to grow. Why? It's just never going to happen for you. And I can almost guarantee any single one of you, if you pick one of the advertiser channels, outreach, ads, or content, and you say like, I'm going to go in for this on a year. For a year, I guarantee you your business could grow massively, right? I had never run an ad this time last year. Actually, I just started running ads around this time last year. Just started running ads. All of our customers now come from ads. Well, most of our customers come through ads, yeah? Like, it's so easy. That's our primary acquisition channel. I'm going to be spending £1,200 in ads this month, okay? Just think about that for a second. A year ago, I'd never run an ad. I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to set up a funnel, right? Now, all my customers are coming through ads. And I can double, triple, quadruple, 10x my budget as time goes on to get more advertising, to get more people to know about the fact that I even exist, yeah? So, people don't know you exist. You need to tell them so that they can find out about your business and come in and get sold to and consume your service, okay? So make sure that you spend more time advertising. People don't realize the volume that they need to do. I spoke to a client and he was doing some outreach, and I was like, all right, nice, you're doing some outreach, like, how many emails are you sending? And he said 15. And I was like, mate, we're not going to get anywhere ever with 15, yeah? I spoke to another client the same day, and he was doing 1,200 in a week. And I was like, all right, okay. And what's that looking like? He's like, I got like 2 positive replies. I was like, okay, you got 2 positive replies for 1,200 emails. I was like, right. So what does that mean that we need to do? Do 12,000 emails. We need to 10x it. We need to increase it. We need to add more to it so that we can start to get more data, right? Like, people think that they're doing enough because it's exhausting, but they don't think about whether or not they're doing enough in relation to their goal, okay? So to give you another analogy on this, imagine that I said that I was going to, I was going to do a boxing fight, right? And I'm really out of shape. Pretty much am at this point, right? But imagine I'm really out of shape. I'm really not used to training. And I go in for my first boxing training session, and I'm just exhausted by the end of it. And I'm like, oh man, this is so much. This is so intense. This is so difficult. And that feeling of me thinking that this is so intense makes me think I'm at my capacity. And then when it actually comes to having a boxing fight, I might go into that boxing fight having 4 training sessions thinking, well, I was absolutely exhausted. I really pushed myself to the limit. Thinking, I've done enough because I'm exhausted. But you're not thinking about what is actually required for you to be successful in a boxing fight, right? Which is going to be doing 400 training sessions, yeah, for example, right? Like, you can hopefully understand the logic that I'm using here, that people think just because they're tired that they're getting closer to the goal or progress is being made. You being tired has got absolutely nothing to do in relation to whether or not you're getting closer to achieving the goal. You getting closer to the goal is in relation to whether or not you're making progress to achieving the goal, okay? Just think about that. I know you understand what I'm trying to say here, right? I know you get what I mean, okay? So that's lesson 4. Lesson 5. Growth is about simplicity, okay? I've got a client at the moment. He started and he was doing about 6K a month when he first started. We are on track this month to, 15K this month potentially. And it's only been like a month or 2 that we've been working with him. I genuinely think that he could make about 15K this month. And the only reason why I can't grow more is because he doesn't have the infrastructure, yeah? And shall I tell you what we did? We made things simpler. We removed other offers that he was doing. We made things easier for him. We just said, stop focusing on all the other stuff. Just focus on this. Just focus on that. Just focus on that, right? And we just said, just focus on your ads. Just focus on your sales. And just focus on your funnels. Just keep doing that. And just do that over and over again. Stop looking at other things. Stop looking at distractions. Stop looking at new business models, new opportunities, all this extra stuff. Just focus on these basics. And as a result, I genuinely think he's going to double his business this month and then double it again the month after. Okay? And it's just by making things simpler. My favorite thing to do at the moment in business is just delete things. Oh, what's this on the Notion page that we got? Get rid of it. I don't like this. Get rid of it. This doesn't make sense. Get rid of it. This is a new thing that I'm thinking about. Get rid of it. Just deleting things. Getting rid of it. Okay? You can't scale things that are really, really complicated very easily. Yeah? It takes like 10 times more brain power. If you make things really simple, you're going to make them more scalable automatically. So, when you're thinking about your business, try and make it as simple as possible. Okay? We've just introduced a new framework that we're using with clients where we get them to literally map out the entire business on a board, right? Which is like start of like the marketing, then the sales, then the delivery. And it just makes it so easy for us to see, oh, well, what's the constraint? This is a constraint. Okay, well, how do we fix this? And it's just such an easier business to run rather than having loads of different things all over the place with half-finished offers and half-finished delivery systems and different operations and potential people that you can hire and all this kind of fluff that doesn't help anyone. Yeah? Make things simpler. It's going to be easier to scale. Lesson 6 is value is not dictated by what people say. It's dictated by how they act. Now, I know some of you guys might not like Jordan Peterson, right? But he has this thing where, and people meme him all the time for it, right? Where people say like, oh, what do you mean by believe? Because whenever someone says like, oh, do you believe in God? He would respond by saying, well, what do you mean by believe? And people hate on this all the time, but I really understand what he means by this. Because people say all the time in business, my service is valuable. I'm like, okay, great. What do you mean valuable? What do you actually mean by valuable, right? Because to me, value is not by someone turning around to say to you and saying, oh, your service is really helpful, right? Value, to me, is someone turning around and saying, this is insanely good. I'm going to keep giving you my money and I'm going to tell other people that I know need your help, okay? Now, they might say it's valuable to your face. They might leave a positive review, but are they continuing to pay? But are they continuing to refer, okay? Because if your service is genuinely valuable, then they will do it. And it's about how they act, not about what they say. And sometimes as business owners, we have to read between the lines because people like to be nice. They like to say good things to your face, right? But that doesn't mean that the way that they act is a customer that absolutely loves your service. And sometimes you know this, right? You're speaking to a customer and you can tell they're like, it's a good service, but like they're not fully bought in. They're not fully sold on what you do. And you have to be able to take a step back and appreciate that just because they're saying something to you, just because your friends tell you your business is great, just because other people might say that your business is great, doesn't mean it actually is. And you need to be able to catch yourself out and be genuinely and brutally honest with yourself. People will lie. This is business, right? People will try to make sure that your feelings don't get hurt because for some reason to them, that might be more important. Or you might portray yourself in a way that people are like, oh, I don't want to upset this guy. You know, he seems a little bit sensitive. He seems a little fragile. He can't really handle the feedback that I would like to give him. And as a result, they don't tell you the truth that you need to hear. And you just keep patching things over and over with lies. And then everything crumbles because you haven't built a solid foundation. You need to get genuine, real feedback, and sometimes that means reading between the lines and observing how your customers act rather than just listening to what they say. That was lesson 6. Now moving on to lesson 7. Lesson 7 says distractions will become more attractive as you grow. Now, we're in a distraction-ridden world. If I have my phone in the corner of my eye, and realistically, I should throw it away, right? So I don't look at it. But the truth is, distractions are everywhere. I might get a notification on my laptop. Someone might come and message me about something. There's a new opportunity with AI. There's this new thing happening that we're exposed to so many things on a daily basis that distractions and opportunities distractions disguised as opportunities, which is what I was trying to say, come to you every single day. And they say like, hey, try this out, try that out. Look at this new app that's going to make your life easier. And you're like, yeah, it's going to make my content it's going to be easier for me to deliver my content. But sales is a constraint in my business, right? But all these distractions keep coming up and they keep telling you like, look at me. And all these different things are just going to constantly bombard your mind. And what you need to be able to do as a founder is you need to be able to switch off the distractions. You need to be able to take a step away from them and make decisions with a clear mind. what's actually going to move my business forward? Yeah. Jeff Bezos talks about this, and he says that as a CEO, you only need to make a couple good decisions. That's it. Maybe one good decision a day. Yeah. Maybe one or two good decisions a month. Okay. Your entire business can grow. And I see this all the time now, especially with the content that Hormozi puts out. There's one decision that he can make to a business. And I've seen this myself as well. One decision that you can make one change that you can make to a business. It's one decision that could potentially double the profit. Yeah. It could double the revenue. And that decision might just be tripling ads. Yeah. And it'll double the profit of the business. And that's it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to touch anything else. You need to let everything else happen how it's going to happen. But people make really poor decisions because they're so distracted, because they're so focused on a million different things. You have to learn to switch these things off. Otherwise, the decisions that you're going to make are going to be terrible. And you're going to wonder, like, why does everything feel out of my control? It's because you're not actually focused on the things that are within your control. Yeah? You need to be able to focus on what actually matters. Everything is going to try and pull away your attention. And as you make more money, as you become more well-connected, as you develop your own skills, there's going to be more and more opportunities that present themselves. And as they do, you have to become stronger and you have to be able to say no to them. Because if you don't, then your focus is going to split, and then you're going to jump from here to here, and then from here to here, and then from here to here, and you're going to go back and forth, and then there's going to be another split, and then it's going to be from here to here, then to here, and then it's going to be that and back and forth over and over again. And as a result, you're going to be so fragmented, it's going to be so difficult for you to actually sit down and focus on what's actually important. You need to be able to just say no to things. Focus is actually more about what you say no to than what you say yes to. Okay? It's about eliminating anything else that you can actually even do. So focus. Focus. It's hard, but it's necessary. Yeah? Learn the skill or you'll be left behind. That was lesson 7. Now moving on to lesson 8. Lesson 8 states, the best type of marketing is marketing that doesn't feel like marketing. It makes the people feel like they're a part of it. Okay? This is something that really stuck with me. And I never really understood it. I'd heard it before I even got into business. I heard this phrase, but I never got it. Okay? And what really started to become more and more clear to me is that people love to be labeled certain ways. People love to be like shipped into a certain identity, right? And whether that's within religious beliefs, whether that's within political beliefs, whether that's within like lifestyles and all this different kind of stuff, people love to be shipped into a certain belief category, love to be sit within a certain frame of values. And if you can figure out what that frame is, and you can appeal the way that your service or product is into that frame, right? And you target people with your marketing using this ideology, it's going to make your marketing so much more potent, to the point where it doesn't even feel like marketing. Okay, let me get really specific with you here. I sell business coaching services, okay? And I like our logo, and if you don't know, is a lion, right? Our logo is a lion, okay? The reason why we chose lion is because we want courageous people, we want ambitious people, we want people that are willing to be ruthless, we want people that are community driven. These are the kind of values that we want to have, right? And it's the values that we want people that we work with to have as well, okay? So by having these values, we attract people that fit within this realm. And as soon as we speak to people and we say like, oh yeah, we're like this, we're ambitious, we're courageous, we want to do this, people feel like, oh, I found the right kind of people to be around. And as a result, they don't feel like, oh, I'm being marketed this thing that doesn't actually connect with me, right? But instead they feel like, okay, I'm on a path, they're on the same path. That means that we are fully aligned, and I can let my guard down essentially. I don't have to worry about like, do these guys understand my needs? Do they understand who I am? Are they actually going to help me get to where I want to get to? Because on a fundamental level, we've connected with them so deeply that they feel like this is the right thing for them. And that's what I try to do with my content. I want people to resonate with me, resonate with my values, actually feel connected to the mission that I'm on personally, the type of person that I want to be. And I want them to actually take on similar traits. Like, it's a good thing. And I have it all the time where I look up to people like, for example, Kobe or Muhammad Ali, or, you look up to these people and you think like, they've got characteristics, they've got traits that I want to have. So when they give advice, my guard's down and I'm listening, okay? It's the same thing. If you're hungry and you feel like the people at McDonald's really understand you and they say, hey, come on, mate, get yourself a McFlurry and whatever food that they have. What is it called? I don't even know the basic McDonald's burger name, but whatever, right? You get what I'm saying. If you feel like they understand you and they understand your food needs, you're gonna let your guard down and you're gonna listen to them, because you're like, oh, it's McDonald's, man. Like, come on. Like, they get me. They understand what kind of food I like. They understand the way that I like it. They understand the atmosphere that I want to eat in. Like, they get all this kind of stuff. Yeah, they understand the lifestyle that I want to have. They understand that I want to be unhealthy. They understand that I want to treat myself, right? And as a result, like, you're just gonna feel okay with going and buying from them. Yeah, so it's a really powerful lesson, but it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs don't spend enough time on. There's one founder that had a 7-figure exit, and I sat down with him, and he was telling me, like, look, gee, your branding, your line, I love it, right? But the name GT Academy, and what hint, we're looking to rebrand soon. He was like, look, gee, like, it doesn't really resonate with people. It's not really gonna bring anything out of them. So I would really look into, like, changing that. This guy has had a 7-figure exit. He's currently building a multi-million-pound business again, right? And he was like, brand is so important. The way that people see what you do is so important. So for me, it just really stuck with me that you have to have a message or a meaning behind what you're doing that people genuinely connect. Because when they do, they're going to buy from you more. They're going to understand you more. They're going to refer more people to you. It's just an easy way for you to be able to make more money. And it actually makes what you do more enjoyable, because you feel like you actually connect to the people that you're trying to speak with. So it's a win-win for everyone. So that's lesson 8. Lesson 9 is sales is not about making someone that doesn't want your product or service to want it. It's about giving them the right information so that they can make an informed decision on whether or not they want to buy your thing. This lesson was huge for me because some of you might know I'm an engineer, right? I actually studied mechanical engineering for 5 years. I did a master's in it. And mate, I felt very uncomfortable with sales to start off with. I didn't like it. It didn't really sit right with me, especially because when I first started out, I was selling to people that I would consider my friends, like people that knew me. And as I was selling to people, it became really obvious that what I'm doing within business it felt like a big unethical thing. However, when I saw the results that people got, I was like, well, this isn't unethical. These guys have paid me and they've got maybe a 2x, 3x return on what they paid me. This is a great investment. Yeah. So when I switch my frame of thinking of, it's not about trying to give something that people don't want, right? And shove that down their throat. And that's what you see a lot of these slimy salespeople. That's what they do. They try to convince you that you need their thing. They pressure you into feeling like, if you don't buy this thing, I'm going to be so disappointed in you. You're going to be disappointed in yourself. All this kind of stuff. All this crap that they throw at you. When realistically for me, a very ethical way to do sales is just focus on giving them the right information that they need to decide. And if you have more information than them, right? Let's say I'm working with a founder there's only making like 1K a month, right? And they're like, look, I don't know how to get to 2K a month. I don't know what I'm doing. And they tell that to me, and I'm like, you're on the wrong path and you want to change. I can sell them my stuff with full confidence. And even if I've got to like push them a little bit and push them outside their comfort zone, I'm okay with that, because I know my product and service is going to get them from where they are to where they need to be. So if they hand over the cash, they're going to be very grateful that they did. And it was as simple as that. And if they're not happy, then I'll just give them a refund. Like, I don't want to take your money if I'm not actually solving a problem for you, if I'm not actually making your life better. If you take someone's money and someone's time and you make their life worse or remains the exact same, you should really not be in business, okay? It's so much easier to grow an ethical business where you genuinely make people's lives better, because you don't have to worry about, this word of mouth that's going to compound and all these negative reviews are going to come out. You're not scamming people. You're just giving them the exact thing that they need, right? People are also going to pay you more and more, by the way. Yeah. So like, if you actually deliver on your promises, people have got every reason to pay you for your next promise, and they'll pay you even more, and they'll pay you more frequently because you're making bigger and better promises for them. So truth be told, not only in my eyes is sales a really ethical thing to do if you've got the right intentions and you've got a product or service that genuinely helps, but it also allows you to make more money when you think about it from an ethical point of view rather than thinking about it from a scammy point of view. Now, just to really hammer this point home, at the moment, my sales close rate is around 60%, okay? Which is huge, right? I'm really proud of that at the moment. I don't know if it's going to stick with that, but it's 60% at the moment, and that's considering all sales calls that I've had for the last 6 months, yeah? Now, 60% close rate, really happy with that. But I would feel terrible at night if I went to bed knowing that I've been trying to sell people on services that they didn't need, and I was giving them results that they're not happy with. What kind of person actually wants to do that? It doesn't make sense. If money is your only goal in business, good luck to you, because you're probably going to make money, right? I'll be real. You're probably going to make money if you're really focused and really determined. You'll probably make money. But you'll ruin your reputation on the way. You'll lose yourself and your morals on the way. And you're not going to have a fulfilling or peaceful life. You're actually just going to have a more empty life. With more money, maybe. But you've burnt more bridges. You've ruined more relationships. And just not the kind of person that I would recommend that actually even gets into business in the first place, because it's just not going to give you what you're looking for. You've got other problems that you need to sort out first. Lesson 10 is create a business where your customers never stop paying you. This is something that for me has become more obvious as Hormozi has actually emphasized it a lot more in his videos, and he talks about having a permanent CAC. Now, let me break this down for you really, really transparently. If I sign a client and they stay with me for 3 months, okay, and then they churn. And that's what all of my clients are doing. They stay with me for 3 months and then they go. Every 3 months, I have to go and find new clients, and then another set of new clients, and then another set of new clients. And I have to keep paying the cost to acquire new customers. I have to keep paying to get customers to buy for the first time over and over again. And the truth is, it would be a lot easier for me to create a delivery model where my customers never stop paying me. So let me give you an example. I've got one client that builds websites for people. When you have a website that works, there's literally no reason to stop paying for it unless you go out of business. Yeah, a website that's converting well, a website that's ranking really well, a website that's attracting all the right leads. Why would you ever stop running that business? The client that is actually running these websites, he started this 3 years ago, okay? He started selling websites around 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, right? I don't know. But he's had a client that's been paying him for three years. Every single month he's been paying him £529. And what happened is that this client of mine, before I started working with him, he switched his business model 2 or 3 times. And he went to, work on ads because everyone was saying that they need leads. And then he started doing some other things, and he started working with a different ICP because he was like, I don't really enjoy working with this current ICP. And he just kind of went through the motions of trying lots of different things. And he didn't realize, and as soon as I started working with him, we realized that he has clients that have a permanent CAC. And what I mean by this is that as soon as you pay to acquire them, they're never going to stop paying you. And we realized that if a customer can pay you £500 a month for over 3 years and not bat an eyelid every time the invoice comes out, why would you not just want to build a business where more and more people are like that? Where you're not worrying about churn every single month. We're not worrying about what's this going to look like, and what these new ads and all these different things and different components. Make it as simple as possible for a customer to just pay you forever. If you do that, it's going to be so much easier for you to grow a business, because you no longer have to worry about sales and marketing as much. Now, Alex Hormozi's got a great example of this, and he says, imagine you've got 2 different businesses. Business 1 says that it is just going to acquire 100 customers every single year, but it's going to keep those customers from previous years. Yeah. So year 1 gets 100 customers, keeps 100. Year 2 gets 100 customers, keeps another 100, so in total now it's 200. Then year 3 gets another 100 customers, so it's got a total of 300 customers. Okay? And you're like, okay, that's all right, but acquisition rate's not that high. So what happens is you've got another business, and this business, instead, they acquire 100 customers within the first year, but they're so focused on marketing and sales that they don't focus on their product, and those 100 customers leave by the end of the year. But they're like, don't worry, we're going to increase our acquisition rate. So this year, in year 2, they actually double it, and they say that they're going to get 200 customers. And they do. And they've got 200 customers. But by the end of year 2, all of these customers also leave. Okay? Then year 3, they're like, oh, well, we're going to triple it this year. And they're going to get 300 customers in, right? And in year 3, think about this. You've got 300 customers in both business, right? But how exhausting is it to go and get another 300, 400, 500 customers for business B? It's so much more difficult. Would you not prefer to have a slower acquisition rate where customers just stay with you? They're going to refer more. The business is less volatile. You don't have to spend as much on marketing. It's so much nicer. You can go to sleep at night knowing that you're not losing all your customers every single year, right? You're actually growing in size rather than reacting and hoping that, nothing changes with ads. Because if it does, your business is screwed. If anything changes with content, with ads, or with your outreach, then immediately business B is going to take a huge hit. Whereas business A is a lot more stable because the customers that stay with it are going to stay with it for a very long time anyways. So this is the kind of considerations to have when you're thinking about how do I structure my business? What do I focus on? Create a business where customers never stop paying you. Okay. Now, just to break this down a little bit further, because I think it's important to make a distinction here, you might be sitting there thinking, oh, well, I've got a clothes shop, right? Okay, great. You've got a clothes shop. It's like, I can't really put people onto a subscription model. And maybe you can't. Maybe you can, right? But maybe you can't. And you say, look, I can't because it's I just can't put someone on a subscription model. Similar to like a restaurant or other things like that. And what happens at this point is you've got to sit down and think, okay, well, I can't make them pay me every single month a certain amount, but I can make them come back over and over again. So that's what someone like Starbucks does, right? Starbucks customers in total over their lifetime pay Starbucks $14,000. $14,000 from £5, £5, £10, £5, £10, £5, £10. All these little sales add up to the point where Starbucks knows that it's going to make a lot of money per customer. And I'm not here for the controversial stuff. Just from the business maths point of view, that's how the model works, right? Because Starbucks knows even though they're not on a subscription, they're going to keep paying over and over again for a coffee because it's embedded within their routine. Yeah. So again, try and find customers that can have a permanent CAC that you spend to acquire them once and they stick with you for a very long period of time. So that's lesson 10. Moving on to lesson 11. Lesson 11 is that your brand is just associations that you make from your business and something you'd like people to think of when they think of your business. So, for example, if you've got something like Lucozade, they have brand sponsors with Jude Bellingham at the moment, or Anthony Joshua. The reason why is because they want to associate their product with elite athleticism and, people at the top of the game, people that people love and aspire to be like and want to be like. That's why they've made that pairing. Well, if I like, Anthony Joshua, I should also like Lucozade. And as a result of saying like, if you want to be peak performance, if you want to be at the top of your game, if you want to be someone that people aspire to be like Anthony Joshua is, then you should also think about getting a Lucozade. Yeah. And as a result of this branding, as a result of this pairing, you can price higher, people trust you more, people like your products and services more, they're more likely to refer. Like all these positive things come because you've associated your brand with this positive thing. Now, I'm going to give you guys a real-time example of how I've been doing that within this video. I keep referring back to Alex Hormozi. Why? It's not actually because I'm trying to latch onto Alex Hormozi's brand, but it's actually because I genuinely do spend a lot of time consuming his content. However, I also know the implication of me constantly talking about Alex Hormozi within the videos. If you value Alex Hormozi's opinions and his advice, and then you come back and you listen to me and you're like, oh, G speaks about Alex Hormozi as well. He really understands his content. He really watches and he reiterates a lot of the similar lessons. Then you're going to think, okay, G understands business in a similar way to Alex Hormozi does. Which means that you're going to think of me in a similar way to Alex Hormozi. That's a pairing that I want, that benefits my brand, that benefits the way that people see me, that benefits the amount of people that are likely to buy from me. That's it. We actually use this in one of our most popular ads at the moment, where at the start of the ad I say, Alex Hormozi says, you should focus on one thing, one product, one service, one ICP, whatever, right? That's the start of the ad, okay? And the reason why I use that is because people don't know me, but they know Alex Hormozi. So if I say Alex Hormozi at the start of the ad, they're going to think, oh, this guy gets Alex Hormozi, he listens to him, he understands the value that Alex Hormozi brings to my life, and I now trust him a little bit more because he gets the kind of things that I get too. Yeah? So that's all branding is. It's just an association between these two things. I used to think, oh, it's this complicated thing of I've got to understand all the kind of technical terms and all this. And by the way, I studied engineering, right? I know I mentioned this before. I never had a business degree. So when someone says branding and marketing, I'm like, oh my God, that's such a complicated term. It's so intricate. It's got all these details. I need to understand like color theory and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but no, not really. You don't really have to, okay? You can just use this basic understanding and that can make you a ton of money, yeah? A ton of money, okay? Simple, like for me, one of the things that I want my brand to be is really simple. So my titles are really simple for my videos, right? My advice is really simple when I deliver it. My ads are really simple. Our roadmaps that we create are really simple, yeah? Our coaching sessions are really simple. Why? Because I want people to associate growing their business in an easy and simple format with me, right? So that's why our brand is it looks the way it does. It feels the way it does. It talks the way it does. Because we just want to make life simple and easy for entrepreneurs that are trying to scale their business. That's it. Yeah. So it's just about at what level can you actually like launch that? At what level? How can I make my colors? How can I make my branding? How can I make my language? How can I make my tone? How can I make my product placement and like where I advertise all align with the type of brand that I want to have, where customers are going to trust me more and pay me more. That's it. Yeah. So really important lesson that it took me a while to like get my head around, but it's just the association. That's all it is, and people pay a ton for the association. Lesson 12 is that business is all about trades. The more trades that you can make and the better quality trades that you can make, the more likely you are going to be successful. So let me break this down into real terms. I had one client who said that he doesn't want to work weekends and he also doesn't want to work evenings. And I was like, okay, great. Are you trying to book in sales calls? He's like, yes. Are people showing up to sales calls? No. Okay. Are people struggling to find times to book in with you? Yes. I was like, okay, great. So the trade that you're currently making is that you're not willing to make it easier for people to book in with you. You're not willing to make these extra sales because you value your family time more than making these extra sales. He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, great. That's a trade that you're currently making. Are you happy with the result of that trade? No. Okay. Do you want to change something? Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to start working 1 day a week on the weekends now because I'm not happy with the trade that is currently going on. Great. That's a trade that he wasn't even aware that he was making, because the truth is, as you get into business, you almost have these default settings where you're like, oh, this is just the way that we work, or this is just the way that we think. And these can become really dangerous because you don't actually realize the cost of the trades that you're making. Okay? I had another business owner that came to me and he's like, look, I'm really stressed. I feel scattered. I don't really know what I'm doing. And I was like, right, okay, like, talk to me about your business. Tell me, like, what do you do? Who do you serve? And when it came to who he served, he was like, oh, I serve these people and these people and those people. I was like, right. I was like, why are you serving all these people? He's like, oh, well, I don't want to, like, limit myself. I was like, okay. So the trade that you're making right now is that you don't want to limit yourself. And as a result, you're feeling scattered because you have to now cater to all these different people. Is this a trade that you're happy with? No. So why do you keep making it? Yeah? People are unaware of the trades that they're making and they live by them and they stick by them because the beliefs that they've got in their head. And the truth is, you have to constantly have someone that is coming and challenging the beliefs that you have if you want to scale faster than other people. Because your beliefs are going to influence the actions that you have. And your actions are going to be the ultimate dictator of whether or not you succeed or fail within business. So the question that I'm going to ask you very directly is, who within your life is challenging your beliefs directly? And if the answer is no one, that needs work. If the answer is 1 or 2 people, that needs work. If the answer is not someone that is in the exact position that I want to be and they're challenging my beliefs on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, I would say that you are setting yourself up to really struggle. Yeah? I have Alex Hormozi videos that I watch regularly. He's challenging my beliefs on the daily. Every new video that comes up by Alex Hormozi, I watch it. Why? There's a belief that he has about business that might change the way that I look at my business. And I want to know what his beliefs are because I believe that they're going to help me. Similarly to, hopefully, while you're watching this video, there's beliefs that you have, limitations that you have about yourself and your business that you want to challenge. And if you want to challenge them, you need someone to confront your beliefs. And that's what I'm trying to do here today so that you can grow faster. I need to challenge your beliefs. You need to challenge your own beliefs. You need to get people in your life that are going to challenge your beliefs and they're going to be able to see the things that you can't see. It's the unknown unknowns that will kill your business. It's the things that you don't even know. The things that you're not even aware is a problem that's going to kill your business. If I go back to, lesson 3, was it? lesson 4, you need to advertise more. If you don't know that you need to advertise more because no one's told you that 15 outreach emails isn't going to be enough, then you're going to stay stuck forever, right? So it's really important that you get the right support so that you understand what is actually limited in your business. Yeah. So I'm very passionate about this. You can hear it in my voice. I really think that people underestimate that the trades that they're making are a huge factor of whether or not they're going to be successful. You need to know the trades that you're making, and it's going to make a massive difference on whether or not you can actually grow your business. That's lesson 12. I'm moving on to lesson 13. Lesson 13 is just tell the truth. Don't lie. Don't try and hide things. Don't try and fluff the numbers. Just be honest. And this ties back to my sales side of things. Yeah, I don't try and lie to people. I don't try and tell them that I'm making more money than I actually am. I don't try and claim things that I don't believe or that I don't think that I can actually help people with. I'm very, very brutally honest. And actually, I think it's worked out more in my favor. People on sales calls, like I had one guy that was like, how much money do you think we can make? And he was like, he wants to make 20K within his first year, 20K a month within his first year. I was like, I'll be honest, I don't think that you're going to hit that. I was like, with your experience, with the level that you're at, I think it's more realistic to aim for like the 8 to 10K a month mark. And I think that that's feasible, but I don't think you're going to hit this goal that you've laid out. He's like, right, okay. Now I'm intrigued. And I was just being real with him. Like, I just don't think that he's going to hit it. And I'm not going to lie to him. Like, and he said like, oh, how many other people have you worked with in my exact situation? I was like, within the exact situation, like that, exactly what you're doing, I don't have any clients that do exactly what you do. I have this experience and I've worked around these people and I think that this is why I can get you results, but I haven't done that. Like exactly what you're doing. And he was like, okay, I'm really interested to go ahead with something. And he said at the end of the call that he was really impressed by me because he knows that I'm not trying to hide things. I'm not trying to fluff the data. I'm not trying to like lie about who I am. I'm just trying to do the things that I genuinely believe are going to help people in business. So I'm going to advise you, don't lie, don't fluff the data. It's only going to bite you in the butt. I've got a great colleague, Adnan, and he keeps me so on track with this stuff. At the end of the month, when I'm like looking at the reports, I'm like, if we think about it this way, if we look at it that way, then, it's going to be really good for the business. And he's like, well, did it happen that way? No. So shut up and deal with it. Yeah. It's literally just being so brutally honest with yourself and honest with the people that you work with, honest with your advertising. By telling the truth, you build up a reputation that will outlive you in business. Yeah. People will trust your brand. People will trust your business. People will trust you. They'll buy from you more. They'll refer more people because they know that you're not a guy that's gonna like just claim things that you can't deliver on. Yeah. Under promise and over deliver. Yeah. Simply put, under promise, over deliver. Don't say things that you can't deliver on. Say what you can do, and if you can go above and beyond, then great, do that. Yeah. But never claim that you can do something much better than you actually can. Just because you're trying to get some money out of someone. Because if you can't do it and you lie about things, that's going to damage you more than anything else. And I've made this mistake, yeah? I've got 1 or 2 people in mind that I worked with and I was really, really early that I was like, oh, I'm going to do this for you and I can do this for you. And looking back on it, I still feel guilt. I still feel bad about those things. And even though I've spoke to them, even though I've said sorry about this or I wish I could have done this better, I still feel guilt about the people that I've done wrong because I lied. That's a mistake that I made that I can never go back and fix that. Yeah. All I can do now is be more honest with myself about the things that I do moving forward. And that to me is a really important lesson. That was lesson 13. I'm moving on to lesson 14. Lesson 14 says, don't try and do everything yourself. Life is too short. You can only live for, let's say it's 80 years. AI might push that to 120, 200, infinity, I don't know, right? But for the current situation, life is too short, okay? You can't live 10, 20, 30 people's lives, okay? Why would I try and do everything myself? Why would I try and learn everything myself? Imagine I was like, I'm looking at my business. I've got marketing, sales, delivery, operations. If I hire someone that's got 30 years experience in marketing, another person in sales, another person in delivery, and another person in operations, and I have 4 people that have got 30 years experience, that knows the ins and outs, that know how these things run, that have experienced all the ups and downs and all this kind of stuff, I've just added 120 years of experience to my business. Experience that I don't have the time to. And even if I tried my absolute best, I couldn't go through all these different lifetimes. Yeah. And by the time I do, I would have to then go and switch and do a new thing, and I'd have to get up to date on another thing. And the truth is, it's impossible for you to run a business like that. So the play should be to leverage people's experience, to leverage people's knowledge, to leverage people's understanding, so that you can grow a business faster than ever. If you don't understand that growing a business is more about people and getting the right people and assembling the teams of people that you need to grow a business, then you're going to be stuck in business for a very, very long time. Okay? There's another concept that I want to add to your understanding of business, and arguably one of the most ones. So if you stayed this long, I'm very glad that you did, and you're going to be glad that you did, because the concept is enterprise value, right? Hormozi put out a post about this where he said that real entrepreneurs optimize for enterprise value. Most people optimize for revenue. I want to make more money, make more money, make more money, but they don't optimize for enterprise value. If you optimize for enterprise value, and by the way, enterprise value is the value of your business. Yeah. So you hear all the time saying like, God, you can buy 50% of my business for £1 million, right? That means that the total valuation of the business is £2 million. Okay. So you want to optimize for that valuation. Now, within this, there's a few different things that you have to consider. You have to consider key man risk. So like if I'm a one-man band and I try to sell my business, no one's going to buy that because they're just buying me as an employee, right? Like they're just going to, and if I leave, if I say that I don't want to work at the business, there isn't even a business there, yeah? So it's key man risk. There's key channel risk. Like in terms of acquisition, if you've only got ads that run, if there's any problem with ads, are you getting any organic kind of like leads coming through? Are you getting anything through SEO? Are you getting a lot of referrals, which is going to help to sustain the business? There's lots of different risks when it comes to you actually building a business for your enterprise value. And that actually makes a much more logical sense. Like it makes much more logical sense to build a business to optimize for that rather than trying to optimize for just revenue. Okay. Reason why is because you'll end up creating a much more stable, much more valuable asset rather than entrapping yourself within a business. Okay. So for example, for me at the moment, I'm thinking about bringing on a salesperson. Now, truth is, I could probably manage and I could probably grow the business and I would have less expenses if I just worked extra hours. But the truth is, I want a business that works without me, right? I don't want to be the key man risk in my business. I want to have a salesperson that's got 30 years more experience than me in sales, and I want them to run their sales. Why wouldn't I want that? Yeah? Is that not going to make my life so much easier? Is that not going to add value to the business? Is it not going to add stability to the business? It absolutely is. But people think, oh, well, the 3 to 5K that I might be paying them a month, that's going to be a huge problem. Whereas it's not. It's actually going to increase your ability to not only sell the business, but also focus on the things that are going to matter more. Focus on your own areas of expertise. Yeah. So this is one of the key lessons that I've learned. Again, I learned this very late in business. It's only been 3 years, so it's still early. But I've learned this within like the last 6 months or so. That enterprise value is something that I need to focus more on, that I need to build a business around. And if you're thinking about trying to grow a business, try and figure out, okay, I need to make some money first. I need to be able to sustain myself. I need some profit margin so I can reinvest in the business. Great, that's fine. But at some point down the line, you need to figure out like, how can I turn this into an asset rather than just a high paying job? Yeah. Right now, I would say that GTM Academy is just not sellable. Yeah. I don't have a sellable business. It's barely an asset. Yeah. It's just a high paying job. Right. Even that, it's not even that high paying because there's so much of it that we have to reinvest in the business. Okay. For us, we need to really consider how do we turn this into something that someone else would buy and say, yes, this is absolutely worth it. Yes, I want to invest in this thing because I think that I can get a great investment on this. So that's another important aspect to consider. Don't just think about how much money I can make. Yeah. If you really want to make money, enterprise value is actually going to make you even more money because you can sell for a multiple of what your revenue actually is. And then you can have that in cash and then you can use that cash and reinvest it. So it's a very, very valuable way to actually grow a business, not just from a stability point of view, but also from a revenue point of view. So really consider enterprise value when you're making strategic decisions for your business. I've got one last bonus piece of advice for you. And this is something that I think is not really going to help you grow the business that much, but going to help you more on a personal level. One thing that has been so helpful for me is growing a business is going to take years of your life. Yeah, it's going to take a time. It's going to take a long time. Yeah, maybe longer than you want. So if the time is going to pass, let it pass with people that you actually enjoy being around. Let it pass with people that you aspire to be like. Let it pass with people that keep you motivated, that keep you engaged, that encourage you to pursue your goals. If you allow yourself to be around negative people, people that don't help you, people that don't support your goals, people that don't want the best for you, things are going to get harder and harder. And you're going to regret going down this path of business. But for me, one thing that has really pushed me in business is that I love working with all of my clients. Like, I've got a genuinely good relationship with all my clients. And on top of that, I have got a really good partner that works with me within the business. Like, Adnan is like, we actually enjoy the work that we do. We enjoy the problem solving side of it. We make jokes all the time. Like, we've got, like, there's so much that goes on that I'm just like really happy with. Like, even my business coach and my board, just great, genuine people that want the best for me. Like, this isn't fake. You can see it on my face that I genuinely like the people that I'm around. And I think that has made it so much easier to just show up. And that's a lot of what business is, just showing up over and over again. And the fact that I love what I do has just made it really easy for me to show up and made it much more likely that I actually stick with what I do and succeed in what I do. Because I like the impact that I'm having. I like the people that are around me. I like the environment that I work in. So why wouldn't I not want to just keep doing what I'm doing? Yeah. So that's my last little bonus piece of advice for you. I hope you take a lot from this video. I know that for me, if someone gave me this video when I first started out in business, damn, like, it would change the way that I consider everything. So I hope it does something similar for you. Yeah. Even if you're not at the start of your journey, even if you're further ahead, I hope that this is something that can genuinely change your behavior and make you into a better business owner. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. And if you've got any more ideas or questions or thoughts, or you want to explore more, you're hungry to learn, then I recommend you watch one of these videos, and I will catch you on the next episode of the IWIN series.